I don't think anybody knows what an emoji is. So I give up.
Oh yeah, they do. That's why we're using
What's up, profitable stylist? This is how we're going live. Bernard and I have these conversations. We get real deep into these conversations while I'm having my Tourette's before we go live, so I don't try to cuss for the hour or 20 minutes or however long we do these things. And it all has to do with providing great service and high quality because that's part of our profit triangle. We don't do, actually, yeah, but we don't have low prices either. We are the trifecta. We are the special exception to the trifecta of what is the profit triangle.
it. Well, it's interesting that you say that because this is like, I mean, if you judge everything by the profit triangle, in this one, this is us giving back. This is full on philanthropy. And what the studies show is that you can't get. I keep looking at my profit triangle here. It's a business principle that says you can't offer all three of the points of the triangle, which is price, quality, and service. And so in this YouTube, sure, we're offering no price,
No price.
hopefully high quality with our knowledge, and hopefully we're delivering good service because it's pretty consistent every week. But what does that say? So the thing is, you can't offer all three sustainably. We could never support our families with this.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of our bigger picture, our bigger business picture. We provide this great service, and everything here could not stand alone. This is because the people who watch us support us by buying our products or buying our education later, or they have already bought from us, so then we could give back a little bit more here. So this is the part of the triangle where we are giving a bunch, but we have to get some money somewhere somehow, or we couldn't keep doing this. So this is not a sustainable business. It's good that you brought that up. I didn't even think about this YouTube channel being
Gotcha.
triangle. Yeah, that's not in my notes.
Well, it's really interesting because I do look at YouTube a lot and I do watch YouTube personally a lot too. It's my go-to. I have a buddy of mine, he watches Twitch. That's his go-to. I got another buddy of mine, he just doesn't watch anything. Excuse me, I take it back. He's all over Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. So it's like, that's his medium, right? And every single place, everywhere, everybody does that thing of, hey, if you want to support the channel, do this. Hey, if you want to, be a Patreon, buy me a coffee, buy me a this, support me like this. Everybody has some extra next level thing because, yeah, this by itself, maybe in 20 years after we die, then we'll get paid $1 for doing this or something,
We'll get rich after we die, right?
Right, then we'll be.
People will start buying me a coffee in the description below. Yeah, comment, subscribe, buy Bernard a coffee so they can pour on his grave. So let me give you a couple of examples outside the hair industry first, so people can start to think about it. Because most salons are similar, and I don't want to just crash down on salons or hairdressers right away, but let's talk about Starbucks. You know what, let's do McDonald's. I think a lot of people can relate to McDonald's.
I think both of them work. I think both of them work for the opposite side of the reason. Yeah,
but let's start with McDonald's because everybody's been to a McDonald's, and if we had to argue about this, there's no real arguing really. I mean,
don't touch the fries. That's what I know about McDonald's. Don't say nothing about the fries.
Oh, I love the fries. Right. I do. Well, that's the thing. But do they have the best burger in the world?
Look, to me, no. I am not a McDonald's.
Right. So most people would say, I've been to so-and-so and got a gourmet burger, a blue cheeseburger, a higher quality. Is the meat even actually beef in a McDonald's burger? Years ago, there was a big argument, and people
they had the pink stuff. Yeah, right.
And that's why Wendy's did "Where's the beef?" because they were kind of softly saying the other burger joints don't even have actual beef in their burgers. So the bottom line is, even I will eat a quarter pounder with cheese or a cheeseburger from McDonald's every once in a while on the go because they have the service. They have consistency. They're always there. Now, I got to say, the McDonald's by my house have even been dropping in service. But for many, many years, it was like the price is really low. They don't, they have a really low price, which is one, and they have pretty good service, but they don't have high quality. You just can't have all three. And then with Starbucks, what do they lack in? They don't
They
have
lack
that
in
low.
price. So they're trying to do high quality coffee. They're trying to do high quality, or they're trying to do good service.
Order on
But,
your app, walk in and pick it up. I mean, that's
right?
service and hopefully quality. Now, I know it's arguable. Some people say their coffee is too bitter, it's too strong, it's too bold, it's too whatever, because people have preferences. But if you love that coffee, that's the quality they're going for, a particular kind of quality. And apparently, they're hitting enough people that like that quality and that service, but it's not cheap.
It's not cheap. It's
Because I know
expensive. Yeah.
in an airport, often I'm in an airport and the freaking line for Starbucks will be like 20 or 30 people. And then I look at this other no name brand place that has this coffee pot. And I think, all right, so I pay a lot less and get a coffee quick. How long do I have to wait for the flight? Is the line worth the Starbucks coffee? And then sometimes, if I don't have much time to get on a flight, I'm like, you know what? This Delta or United flight's getting ready to give me a free cup of coffee if I ask for it. But there's where I got to wait. The service is really, really low there. It takes a long time to get it. So we're always balancing what we want in these categories. So when we go to the salon world, we actually have all of the possibilities of the triangle with all hairdressers. And when
Hmm.
hairdressers first get started, I mean, I'll say that it's a lot to do with the thought that we are friends with our clients and we feel bad for charging them, so we charge very low because we don't want to make them mad, hurt their feelings, rip them off, whatever word you think it is. So most hairdressers lose it on price. That's first. That's where most hairdressers could learn something here, and they're great quality. They're a great haircut. They're giving good service, and I mean, are they giving good service? This is what RJ argues with me, because this is what the problem is. They're giving good quality, good service, and a good price, and that's what we're trying to say here. You
But they're
can't.
not.
Are they? Are they not?
They're not.
Because Amazon did it for a long time. They gave all three, but and this was the analysts were saying they're going to fail at some point. You can't keep doing it. Some people will do it as a marketing strategy, and you're losing money while you're doing it, and that's why these hairdressers in the very beginning can do all three. They're giving it all. They're giving all three, but then they're on the forums complaining that their back's hurting, their life's falling apart. Their
But that's the
life quality
difference.
is going down.
That's the difference. That's where
It's
I
not
disagree.
sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable because you start off thinking, I'm going to give the good price, I'm going to give the good service, I'm going to give the quality there. And then they burn out because they're frustrated, because they're stressed out, because they're not making their bills. Ultimately, people don't appreciate, or people have a very weird way of showing appreciation. And people also have a weird way of feeling appreciation. So the combination of those two is really the death sentence. When you're not making the money you want to make, and your life is not comfortable in the way you want it to be, and you're stressed out already from other outside X factors, you're not supposed to bring that into the salon. Whether you're a studio renter, whether you work in a salon, it doesn't matter what your situation is, right? And then you have some stylists that work out of the house. Well, you're just SOL on that one. There is no way you could. What do? You walk out your door and walk back in again. It's there, So then what ends up happening is one thing goes wrong, as it's going to happen because you can't 100% of the time consistently keep doing good unless you're Bernard Ori. I mean, even I make a mistake every once in a while.
I don't. So,
But then once you make that one mistake, when is the mistake that you did? Is it because when they have a big event coming up and it was really important that one time was the time that was right? Or
Well,
is it
here's the
enough
deal.
time that you got a second chance to fix it? Now you're stressed out, they're PO'd, and your service just dropped. It tanked.
I love how you decided that you still can use curse words. You just use the first letter of them, and then Google doesn't catch it. So you're still getting your
I
you're still getting
can't.
the bad you're still getting your bad words out there. And I hope that like the Google Translate when they put the words on the screen doesn't know what the SOLs and POs mean.
Should I go do my push-ups? I got to go do my push-ups.
No, I just
I
love that
feel like Carson. I feel like this Carson cussing yet?
No, he hears me though, and he looks and he says, "Dad." I said, "You don't correct me, boy. I'm the father here." But no,
That's how I feel.
I find it. I just find it funny. Yeah, kids will always find a workaround. That's kind of what you're doing. You found a workaround to get your bad words out, just not the full word. But listen, so hairdressers, listen to me. You've got a choice to make. You're gonna kill yourself, kill your body, fall apart, quit doing hair. Some of you guys listening right now used to do hair and you don't anymore because you didn't choose on this. And you gotta decide early on. You know there's price, quality, and service, and you can't give all three. Which one will you give up? And so I've got a stylist in the salon right now who's arguably lacking in an area. She charges a high price, but she probably needs to go higher because she's at a point where she's booked solid. She wants to make more money. So what she does is she's triple, quadruple booking, and that has brought her service down because she can't do as good a job on each person as if she was just focusing on one or two. She's doing too many people at one time, and it's putting me in a position where I've got to start to have to balance the triangle a little. She says, well, I have to do that to make the money I want or need to make. Well, maybe we raise her prices a little, and that's probably the answer for most of you guys. Raise your price so that you can breathe and be able to do the quality and the service better and slow down and make money, and you won't be working so hard killing yourself. But if you are going to keep your low prices, make them wait. Make them wait. Do 3 clients at a time. That's how some of the stylists back in the day would get this assembly line going. I remember going to a guy before I opened my salon to check it out, and it took about an hour and a half to get my hair cut because he came and did hair. Well, and I can't blame him because it was a decent price, but he liked to put on a show also. So what would happen is he had 3 ladies color process, and he had an assistant or 2. He came over and he introduced himself, and we talked a little, and he goes, "Oh, I remember, I know you." And so he's cutting my hair a little bit, and he goes, "I'll be right back." I said, "It's all right, go ahead." And so then I started go apply color on somebody, then he come back a little bit. And I was impressed that he could remember where he was on all these people, rinsing one out, shampooing one, doing conditioner on one, put one under the dryer. He was styling one lady, and he asked another girl, come do some curl iron. And you can run that assembly line with high quality and service if you're taking the time off the clock to train these people to do a good job. So I'm not saying it can't be done, but you've got to be careful because in that situation, that's sometimes where the service dives. And it's okay if you want to say, I'm going to provide, I'm working on quantity. I want to get a whole bunch of through here. So I'm not going to have the service. That's a choice you have to make. But do you really want to drop in quality or service? It's hard to have a good business without service. So RJ and I were talking about that earlier. It's almost like you really got to just choose between price and quality. Those are the two. You're going to stay low price?
I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I'm going to ask you a question. Down by you.
Down the bayou.
In the bayou. Is there a restaurant that is known for purposely, like that's their shtick, that's their act, that they're mean, that they yell at you, they give you bad service, they cuss at you? Do you guys have a restaurant that's like that?
Yeah, Lambert's, I think they call it, Home of the Throne Rolls. It's not real close to us, but I think it's over in Mississippi or Alabama. And they throw the bread at you. They give you a
yes.
Or
so up in Chicago, we had a couple of places that were like that. And I was always fascinated by that because the food was really good. Now, look, if they're going to be rude to you like that, and you're walking in,
the food better be good.
It's an act. The price better be worth it, and the food better be good, man. It's for you to put up with that, right? And I was always fascinated.
So the price is high for that food, and it's really good food. And they make a joke about the service. They cook a bunch of different things, and and it's kind of they call it home style. And what they'll do is they come around with pots, and they look like you need some beans, and you're like, I didn't want beans. Well, you're getting them. And so they make a joke about it. You're like, I hate beans, but you get the beans. And then you're like, I want a roll. You start learning it. You could just yell it out. Can I get some bread? And they're like, bread. And they start throwing rolls across the restaurant. You
Yep.
catch them, you don't catch them.
What's Heart
So
Attack Grill? Have you heard of that?
I have not. Is that
Okay.
on the? Is that in the description?
That's RJ plug in the Heart Attack Grill.
Heart Attack Grill. Well, I know that. What's interesting is Peter Luger's in New York. It's supposed to be a very fine steak restaurant. We've gone a few times. I didn't find the service so bad, but most people tell me that they lack in service, like on purpose. They're kind of rude to you. They're kind of snooty, but and their price and their quality are outrageous. And
So
maybe
that's me. That's my point. I've said this on how many, every few weeks I always bring it up. I am awkward behind the chair. I don't know what to do with socializing behind the chair. So I always forego the great service aspect of it, and I just focus on my pricing and I focus on my quality, because those I can do. I can do those very, very well. So I don't necessarily worry so much about my service, because I can't socialize like a normal human being, like the average person is expecting me to do,
right.
That's my
funny.
curveball.
No, that's good. That's good because I think everybody thinks of service differently. Like I think if you're doing good hair, that's interesting. I'm thinking service is how well the hair comes out,
That's
and
the quality.
yeah, you're right. That's quality because the experience, I guess, would be more the service. And you could provide the right salon or work at the right salon, have all the right ambiance, all the lights work. It's a pretty place. Maybe there's a coffee bar. So that all adds to the service, which costs money, and that's why you got to charge more. But you personally don't provide the service. That's fascinating. I hadn't thought about it.
So we should go through each one of them and break it down and see so when you hear service, like, okay, you thought the haircut was part of it, but that's really quality. What else do you think in your mind constitutes great service? Like you were saying, ambiance, coffee bar, lights working.
I think service and quality are the two that are harder to break down and are a little different for everybody because price is price, right? You're either high or you're low. Boom. And you decide. You're gonna I would say, let's just assume most hairdressers out there would like to be high priced because it means they're gonna make more money working in less time, right? So maybe that's the one where we say you're gonna be high. And this is where you really gotta choose. You can't provide. Well, that's it. We can do quality and service, right? I get confused because the price mixes me up high, low. Low is the one you can't give. You got high price. Then what other one are you sacrificing?
So then scheduling. Can you fit them in because you're too busy, or are you not booked enough, or are you pre-booking like you're always talking about the rescheduling? Is that great service?
Well, I think if your price is high, you're giving good quality and service. That's what I was arguing with RJ about this morning because he was saying, well, if you're booked solid and you can't fit people in, that's kind of rude. You got to raise your prices. I said, well, you still get booked solid again and you can't fit people in. He said, yeah, but it's not good to you because you're killing your body. And so I was like, oh God. So it goes bigger than just the experience right there in the salon.
So then you're breaking it down in two aspects. Is the profit triangle for the client, and then it's the profit triangle for the business, for the individual stylist.
And the stylist. Right. Well,
And
the stylist business and the client. Yeah. So you've got to think of all of that. So yeah, you're not going to be able to service everybody all the time. But if your price is really high, really, really high, and I know there's a controversial stylist that I'm going to name. People love or hate the stylist, and it doesn't matter. Guy Tang. Now, people would say, well, I'm in the wrong area. And then somebody one time told me, and I don't remember where it is now, where Guy Tang was. They're like, Guy Tang is just in a little space that he's renting, a little room. It doesn't matter where he is. He puts that video camera on, and he does a great job editing. He's a great stylist as far as before and afters. And he's charging $2,000 or $3,000 for a client. And people say that they can't charge more in their area. It has nothing to do with your area. And so for him, he probably does have openings because he's got a limitation of how many people are going to pay $3,000 for a 2 or 3 hour appointment. But that's okay. So is he sacrificing on service because he's so high? Probably not. He's only doing one client.
No, he's
He could,
sacrificing on the quality. So he's providing great service and he's got a high
I
price.
would say, it's price. He sacrificed on the price. He's got the high price, so he can give the other two. He's not giving a low price, so you can give the quality and service.
Or, right, right. No.
But
Well,
no, doesn't mean everybody does.
you're
but
right. Yeah. Scratch my personal opinion. I take that back. Yeah, he's providing quality and service in the profit triangle. He's not providing an accessible price in the profit triangle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And still he might get booked solid, even at that high price, but he's not killing himself trying to do three
That's
and four
fair.
people at a time.
That's fair. And good on him that he became successful.
Right. And he's taking the
Yeah.
time to dance with the clients, do stupid stuff. They're
No,
it's
that's his
part of
thing
the
though.
show.
That's the experience.
It's the experience, and it keeps his back from dying because he's not just bent over the chair doing two or three people an hour all day long, killing himself. He's taking his time watching this one, watching it process, maybe doing a little new camera angle while the color's processing, getting a few different angles, taking a break. He's not trying to fit two more clients in during the color process. So I've always loved to watch different people work in different ways. Where, as it's this last hair show we went to, I saw some guys that you and I have worked with on stage. I won't say their names because I felt sorry for them. They were older guys that we've worked with on stage that are still grinding it out on stage, sweating. I mean, because some of these guys don't do good under lights, and most of them are LED now. I mean, sweating, screaming on the microphone, trying to give the good deals, come see us. And I'm thinking, God, you are working so hard. I talked to him later, and this is why I feel sorry for him, because he said, I'm done working in the bullpen. He calls it the bullpen. You probably know what I'm talking about now. But he talks about the show being the bullpen, and the higher end stylists are on the stages, and then even higher than that, you got to pay to go see in private educational events. And I remember when I was, if you take that hierarchy where I was below him and looked up to him as a person with a mic on a small stage, and then passed him up. And not that, I love being on that little stage at a hair show, and I'm going to do it in Chicago next, in April. I do love it, but I'm not grinding it out doing every single hair show across the country. I could, and I might in the next year or two to really get on stage hair extensions in front of people's faces, but I don't have to. And that's the difference. I can do it because I want to, and it's fun, and I can plan little spurts. But this guy's getting paid by somebody else, and I'm watching, and I'm thinking, he doesn't even use that color line in the salon. He doesn't even believe in it. Somebody paid him because they need an educator to promote it, and it was so fake that it was sad. And so I think most hairdressers, would you agree? Most hairdressers think they got to try to give all three.
They think they got to try to give all three, but I think, like you were saying, quality and service gets mixed up for you. I think for most stylists, when I speak to them, I think they confuse quality with price. A lot of stylists that I speak with, they think they're not allowed to charge a higher price yet because they're not good enough. And they don't realize that at the price that they're currently at, they are providing as good of a quality as they possibly can. And they think they're providing great service, but they're really not when you break it down and look at what exactly it is they do. They don't do the consultation properly. They don't do the maintenance. They don't explain to the client how to maintain. They're not educating their client properly. They don't do a lot of the nuanced things during the service that actually provide a great service. So they are actually doing the best quality they can provide at the level that they are at without realizing it. And then they're charging the price that they're charging because they're actually charging a lower price because they're handicapping themselves thinking that's their limit anyways. In their mind, they're providing all three, but you actually are losing out somewhere.
What's the next step for them?
In the next step for them, in my opinion, I think if you really break down what it is, what constitutes a great service, yes, the experience is important, but equally as much as the experience, I could tell you how many times and I'll use restaurants as the prime example. I've gone into a fancy restaurant and bar, and I've absolutely hated every minute of being in there because everybody was a snobby piece of person, right? And then I've been in hole in the wall restaurants, and those are my absolute favorite ones because it's a mom and pop, owned. It's like a personal entrepreneur place, and people are just so proud of owning that little hole in the wall. And half the lights don't work. They don't have napkins, or they have like plastic, silverwares, but they pour their heart into that food. They want to make sure you feel like you're comfortable sitting there. They want to make sure you're taken care of, right?
Right.
So what that is service. That's not experience. That's your actual service. So even though both are important, the experience and the service, if you go into a nice ambiance place, but the service is crap, is that still considered great service? And vice versa. If you go into a crappy looking place, but they treat you phenomenally, does that count as great service? And where is the balance in between?
Quality and service can cross over a little. I guess in my
See,
head, quality,
that's not quality though, Bernard. Quality is what are you? So in a restaurant, what is the actual food that you're eating? That's the quality.
What's the product? I guess would be the quality.
Is the quality
refers to the product, but in the service industry, many times the service itself is the product.
Is it though? Because at the end of the day, you want to eat. You want to get a hair. Okay, for us, you want to get a haircut. So if you go to a Regis Corporation place like a Supercut or a Great Clip, a Mastercut, a Sport Clip, one of the Regis Corp shops, people argue, are you really getting the best quality that you could possibly get? But you're getting the convenience and you're getting the price.
I think you can. I think you can get. So there's always little nuances, little weird situations going on. There was a hairdresser to come to work for me many years ago, and it started off where he moved from one town to another. He was a top stylist in another town, and when you mentioned Regis, I thought of his name. He was an amazing stylist. So for a short time, and this is why the profit triangle is not sustainable, he knew moving to a new town, it was going to be difficult to build a clientele. And so he said, you know what I did is I went to the busiest shopping center in town. There happened to be a Regis salon. So I went to work there for a year because I knew there'd be a lot of traffic. I'd do really good hair. So for about a year, he had low prices, high quality, high service. He was really good at everything. But he knew it wasn't sustainable either. And so he went there to build a clientele, leave there, go to a salon where he could change his prices and raise them up. So there are little nuances, like when you say, can you get it at a Regis? Sometimes you can try real hard and find a stylist that just moved to town and they work at a little local chain salon just to build up their clientele, or they just happen to be really good and they got right out of school and the world just doesn't know about them yet. They're a little bit of a prodigy and they go in there, do really good work, and then realize I need to be in a better salon. And then you've got the ones that just get stuck there forever because they think that's the ones that I think I'm trying to save here. That's the starfish that is washed up on the ocean. I mean, on the sand beach that I want to pick up and throw back in the water. I want to say, like, guys, don't get stuck 5 years later working at Supercuts. I don't even know if Mastercuts is around anymore. Sports Clips, Fantastic Sam's, the chain salons. So often, those are great places to start, but too often, they are never going to give you the opportunity to make more money over time. God, some people are going to hate us for naming places like that, right? So there are salons that will allow you to raise your prices. And if you're at a salon that won't allow you to raise the price or work with you about raising your price once you're booked, then it's not, you're not going to get there. I know some people would say that's when you leave and go rent a station, rent a booth. Maybe, maybe not. My salon is completely commission. And I've got a stylist that used to work for Fantastic Sam's, and she was making $600 to $800 every 2 weeks. So she was making $300 or $400 a week, and she'd been doing hair quite a few years. COVID hit. She did nothing for a while. So then she's looking for a place to work. She lived a little too far from me. I said, I'm not sure you'll be able to build a clientele in my area if you're going to be driving 45 minutes to work. Well, just a few weeks ago, now her paychecks are $1,700 to $2,000 a week. But a few weeks ago, she had a little better than usual week and made a $4,000 paycheck. Yeah, that's a couple of extension clients, a couple of hair replacement clients. This is the one that does 4 and 5 clients at a time. $4,000 paycheck in 1 week.
Nice.
That's not happen. That's not going to happen in an hourly job, a salary job, and it's definitely not going to happen at a chain salon. And I say a chain. There are some high-end chains also, but this is a place where I work with her about raising her prices, giving her the opportunity to charge more on difficult clients, difficult hair, more hair, and she can make more. So when we went to the hair show recently, she like broke down and thanked me and was like, I just wanted to tell you how much you've changed my life. And that was a great feeling, you know? And I don't think that happens often enough in the salon world. And I can't do it for everybody. Not everybody can come work for me and I help them. But I feel like through this platform, I can say, you probably need to raise your prices. Now, what's going to happen if somebody I get the stylist that comes to work for me and has like 10 clients and they say, Bernard, can I raise my prices? For for the 10 clients you have, but you want to raise your prices for the future. Oh, I need a raise. You need to get some clients first. So definitely do it in order. Work your butt off, get some clients that like you and are consistent at whatever price, even free. Then you start raising your prices. And that's the thing that I don't think enough stylists do. They get busy, they're friends with the client, and they don't want to hurt Mrs. Jones' feelings by raising the price and pissing her off. You know what? Her granddaughter's going to go to school to do hair, and she's going to leave you anyway for that girl, for that other hairdresser.
You just made me think of something.
Yeah.
So then it's fair to say that it goes full circle. You start off low price, you provide high quality, great service, and then as you start getting filled or booked, then you raise your price, maybe your service drops a little bit. Or you're providing great service and high quality at low pricing, but as you get busier, you start double booking and triple booking because you have to make that money. The only way to do it is to double book, triple book. So all of a sudden your service starts dropping a little bit. Well, now you've got low pricing and your service is dropping. You're only got one thing out of the profit triangle, not two. That's your measure to know when you're supposed to raise your price. So then once you raise your price back up again, now you've got a new level of clientele coming in. So now you could start providing those clients a great service and great quality at that price, which that echelon of clientele wow, what a word I came up with.
You with the big words. That's
right? Has, that price to them is reasonable and affordable. So you're providing them great service, high quality. So it really, then it comes around full circle again. Once you start building up at that level and you start finding yourself double booking, triple booking to maintain, whatever lifestyle now you're in that you're comfortable, you want to rise up again. You come back full circle again. You raise your price again. Then you stop double booking for a while because you got to rebuild, that little bit. Your service comes back up and now you're at that level of pricing.
So that's very common. When you raise your prices, the very first thing you can do is you can spend a little bit more time with each client because you're going to have one or two a day not come in that you had before. So you've got that extra hour or two that you can tack on 5 or 10 minutes to all the other appointments, and you can decide to do a little bit more service. Maybe you give away some services to some clients that have never gotten their eyebrows done. They never got their lip wax or ears waxed, all the waxing services. Maybe they've never had just color and roots. Maybe you never did highlighted before. Now you're saying, I got a little extra time, Miss Sally. You want to throw a few little highlights in there with your root color. Why are you sticking your tongue out, Eddie? What happened?
I was trying to hold back yawning and I couldn't hold it back. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to do this. This is what I'm doing with my life. So then what's your formula? So RJ's saying at about, you got to look at your price against being 80 to 90% booked. And once you're 80, 90% booked, then you rise your next level?
About 80% booked. And you know what? Here's the deal. You can't. So a lot of people are working overtime. I had a lady come in one time to help us figure this out. And she said, your hairdresser is booked 110% of the time. And I said, that's impossible. And she said, no, it's not. She's supposed to work 9 to 5 and she's working like 8 to 6 on some days. I said, oh, she is going to get burnt out and she's going to quit working for you. I said, I thought that was a good thing when they worked extra and more time and more. I'm thinking she's a rock star, And she goes, yeah. for a short term, she's gonna start hating her job, hating her life, hating her body, because she's gonna start hurting. You can't work them that hard that much. And I was like, wow. So listen, what she did, she said, we're gonna raise her prices 30%. And I was like, whoo, that's a lot. You take somebody that's paying $100 for a color and cut and style, that's an easy number to do, and you raise it up to $130. That's significant in money. Say it's a $200 service, you're going to $260. And so this was the math she did. Let's raise 30% because we need to lose at least 20% of her clientele. Because she said she can't, I don't even want her booked 100% of the time. I want her booked about 90. So she said, if we raise 30% today and she loses 30% of her clientele, she'll be making the exact same money working 80% of the time.
Wow.
And I was like,
wow.
Oh, she's going to be real happy to be back down into her schedule. Not even her full schedule. She's still got 20% time to relax, smoke a cigarette. She didn't smoke. I'm just joking. Eat lunch. You know, she's got
go to the bathroom, eat lunch. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself.
But making the same money. So that was the part that I realized, that when you raise your prices, we always think about, oh God, what if everybody doesn't pay it? That's exactly what we want. When we raise prices, we want to lose some clients, and that is scary. Because most of us have gotten to the point where we're working too much anyway, too many hours, working overtime, coming in early, and we need to raise our prices to lose a few of those. And when you raise your prices, you say, I'm not coming in early or late anymore. I'm working within the schedule. If you can't make that, I'm sorry. Well, they'll find a way to make it, or they go somewhere else, and that's fine. You didn't mind losing a few. So then you've got that more time to rebuild into. And then when you start getting to about 90% booked, raise them again so you don't get to the 100%, because that's what's happening. Most of you guys are already at 100, 110, 120, 130% booked. You're coming in on your days off, coming in on the weekend because you learned hair replacement from me, and you're like, I'm already booked solid. I guess I could do it on my days off. And I say, that's a good idea to learn it, but don't keep doing that after a month or two and the customers are getting charged and you're successful with it. You gotta get back into your 5-day work week. I mean, sure, when you're young, you might be able to work 7 days a week for a few months or years and make a killing. Hopefully you're saving money if you're doing it. If there's a means to the end and you're saving money because you're going to be opening your own salon or retiring soon, I get it. But most of us don't do that. So don't kill yourself. Go have some hobbies, have some fun. I am not feeling good today.
That's the end of it anyways. That's I was about to end it myself, because that's a perfect note to end on. I think that's awesome. I think we should get those comments. I think we should know what constitutes the good profit triangle for you all out there. And we are actually going to do Tuesday.
Yes, Tuesday. Oh, I'm excited about Tuesday. RJ read on one of the forums recently, one of the stylists said, what do you think when your family asks you, are you going to bring your scissors, or please bring your scissors to Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
I mean, I got strong opinions about that. I know so many of you love doing hair so much, you want to do it all Thanksgiving and get all the
Well, that's it. So next week is Thursday. It's Thanksgiving Thursday, so we won't be live on Thursday. So we're going to do it on Tuesday instead, and that's going to be our topic.
You should bring your tools.
And should you bring your tools? So let us know what's going on with that. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you on Tuesday.